I shot this project about 3 years ago. Since those 3 years, I've realized so much and I've learned a lot, but mostly that the process of making films is what I love. The end result obviously is important, but I like to hear the stories of how films are made and what people experience, and so I'm just going to do the same here. So this project came to me directly from the client. They found my production company and they reached out to me, and it was this weird thing of like, hey, we have this idea, but we don't have an agency in between, but we're coming straight to you, which for me nowadays is a massive red flag. Because if there's oftentimes no agency in between, it means that I'm becoming the agency. So this was a good thing actually for me, because I was like, okay, so I can like kind of interpret this and make this how I want. It was a bad thing for me because there was no money, or at least not a lot. This is when I got another production company involved and a producer. Long story short, the producer managed to like double the budget, and we made this actually happen. The idea of this campaign was for an AI fashion assistant. This was like when AI chatbots were starting to become a thing and starting to help you give like recommendations for outfits. This is what the objective was. I basically talked about the film here, sharing kind of the rough direction. Initially it was written with 2 people in mind, and I started to like collect these ideas of how we were going to tell the story. And that was like my first lesson, was to understand that how much dialogue can you actually put into like a 45-second or a 1-minute ad is not a lot. This was like a moment that I felt like, oh, there's a release here, I want her to feel like she's really in this experience, and how do I transport her from her boring bedroom to this imagining and feeling as if it's tangible, as if she's really there. And then as you can see in the concept, there's also like cut downs. These are things, you have your main film, and then you have to like have the shorter versions, and I describe these here, how we're going to capture those cut downs. I don't know where this reference is from now, I can't remember, but I'm deeply moved by nightclub dancing scenes. I don't know why. There's a moment, a film called After Sun, if you haven't seen it, go watch it, where Paul Mescal, the actor, is just dancing in this nightclub, and it like brings me to tears. So I go through styling, I shared like the kind of idea, the Y2K idea, like everything down to the edit, sound, casting. Yeah, essentially that was like my treatment. Usually the process, right, is that a creative agency comes to you, they give you a brief, and then you say, hey, this is my interpretation of the brief. But because I was kind of playing agency / creative / make a treatment, that was my mishmash of that. Also guys, if you don't want to have a embarrassingly bad looking treatment or concept board, then I can highly recommend going to Pitch Studios. Just like straight out the pack, you can just drag and drop your reference images into and start writing. It has a great framework for structuring a treatment, for pitching. I use the Google Slides one. I'm not in the position to hire a designer, a treatment designer, or a researcher right now. So this is my best solution. I have the complete bundle, and it is saving my ass a ton of time. I knew I wanted to shoot this project with Patrick Pichler. We were like hanging out with a similar friend group at the time, and I'd known his work for a while, like when I first moved to Berlin. So I knew I always wanted to work with Patrick. So when it came to looking for a location, we looked at 3 locations, did a virtual tour, I think, and then just recce'd one, and that one was the best due to the budget and due to the actual accessibility, because we knew we had to light from the outside. I knew beforehand that I didn't want to shoot this project wide, with a wide lens. I really felt like it needed to be intimate. I think we shot on the signature primes. Before I made the film, I made a shitmercial, or a pre-visual as they call it, to show sort of the timing or the rough idea to the client, to say, hey, this is like kind of how it's gonna work. So I knew exactly when I was turning up on set, like, okay, this is a shot we need, this is one we could kill, this is one we could do without. Let's go through the film. I mean, just in the first few seconds, I remember just being so relieved that I could have a shot that lasted longer than 3 seconds. Yeah. This is one of my other lessons. It's quite a lot coordinating like them texting or the hand movements, or in this case swiping, and then like love hearting, like liking something, and it not being like out of time, if that makes sense. This idea was Patrick's idea. I said like, hey, like she needs to go from like the bedroom to the party. How is she gonna get there? And Patrick was like, oh, why don't we do this thing like on her eye? I remember the client being like, yeah, we should shoot this like wide, or how are we gonna shoot this widescreen, because we need to have these cut downs. And I remember Saltburn, I can thank Saltburn for this. Saltburn came out at the time. I was like, Saltburn is shot in 4:3, and I think it would be cool if our one was 4:3. He was like, okay, yeah. I want to be hip. But no, he trusted me on this, and I was very grateful. I always like the idea here. It's like she's checking someone out, but she's also like, she's so in her own world. And then we get to the the dinosaur shoes, but to bring her back into this reality. It's a super simple commercial. Our talent, she was a model, and she did well, actually, to be honest, for acting. At some point during this shoot, the client, my main point of contact, just left. He was like, cool, it's going good, ciao. And I started to realize after this project, okay, like I'm the one as the director who just has to care the most, and to just hire extremely and work with extremely talented people who can help make that thing come to life, that little world. Have a lovely day, take it easy, and I'll catch you in the next video.